Hello, I'm famous celebrity. You're watching Super Duper Friends with Josh, Kyle, and Jack. Play the theme song.
Shut up and sit down.
Hi guys, my name's Josh, welcome to my video. It's just going to be me today because the other two guys are busy, but I wanted to make a video anyway. I have a topic I want to talk about and I thought why not. So the topic today is going to be microtransactions. It's something that I have a lot of opinions on. It's something that I see a lot of other people having some opinions on that I disagree with, and I thought I wanted to get my thoughts out there, something I want to talk about. So here we go. Firstly, I want to talk about the good that microtransactions can be, which is quite a controversial topic because I know a lot of people immediately see the word and demonize it, and I think that microtransactions can definitely be a very good thing. It's a way of supporting a game that you are invested in and that you want to continue. And when I say a game, I mean a multiplayer game. So I'm going to give a few examples. Dota 2, League of Legends, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm. These are all free-to-play games. They will have microtransactions. It's completely fair enough. They need a way to monetize their game. Otherwise, what's the point of making it, right? You need money. And it's their job. So, fair enough. Find a way to monetize your game. So think of another game. Counter-Strike Go. Microtransactions in that. It's not a full price game. About £20, I'd say. Don't know how much that is in dollars. But microtransactions in it. And they're widely accepted. Let's look at some other games that are coming out. Overwatch. It's going to be a full price game. Going to have microtransactions in. Which, from the most people that I can see have accepted these microtransactions. Okay. Why do we still look at games and see the word microtransaction and immediately condemn this game because of it? Why are microtransactions good? Well, we've already said the context of free-to-play games is to make money for the game. And that's completely fair enough. And I think a lot of people can understand, yeah, they have to make money off the game. And most of these games, Dota 2, I'm going to say from my personal experience, I've spent hundreds of pounds on this game, more than I would have spent on a full price game because of microtransactions. And to be fair, I think I'm coming close to 2,000 hours playing that game. So I think the amount of, really at the time played and the money spent is probably about good value. But let's be honest. That was completely because of microtransactions. I spent a lot more into the game than I probably should have, but it's because I want to support it. It's because I feel like this game has been running for years and years now. It's going to keep running for a while, and I wanted to put some money into it to keep the developers supported so they can continue to work on this game, but also to support the esports scene, which Valve have been very smart in employing the compendium and the majors, where you can put money towards these competitions and they directly support the esports tournament. They raise prize pools, the international prize pools, the one that I'm talking about here, and you know, it's very healthy for that community, the Dota 2 community and the esports community in general. So that's completely acceptable, and I know a lot of people look at those and they think, yeah, it's completely fine and they're good microtransactions, completely justified, and they support them. We look at a game like Counter-Strike Go and I've never seen anyone ever criticize the microtransaction model in that game. I'm not saying that people haven't, but if we look at them, they're entirely cosmetics. It's getting skins for your guns, you know, kill trackers on your guns, you know, there's nothing that affects gameplay. It's completely fine. It's just artists. A lot of the time, I think I know for Dota especially, it's artists from the community who just make these models for fun and they actually get money back for it. I mean, Counter-Strike Go, I assume it's similar. It's just artists making these skins, these different versions of the guns, and I hope they get money back for it. But either way, it's a way of supporting the game. Counter-Strike Go's been around for a long time, and it's helping to keep the game run. It's helping support development time, to support servers and support tournaments, and that's all good. That's fantastic. And that's really where microtransactions are good. It doesn't matter if you charge full price for a game. If the game plans to be around for a long time, for years and years, then there has to have a way to fund it. You can't just fund it on thin air. And a lot of games when they're released, they find most of their profits, most of their sales of the game are in the first few weeks when the news is fresh. It's like, oh, a new game, have you heard about this new game that's been released? Oh, Counter-Strike Go. Oh, a lot of people spend money on it and buy it then. And sure, with a game like Counter-Strike Go, I'm sure they get sales throughout. throughout their lifespan, they still get money from these sales, but the biggest chunk would have been at the start. It would have been in that big, massive, okay, we just developed this game, and we spent a lot of money on it, so we need to get some money in. People buying this game, okay, we've made our money back, we've got some profit, and that's the majority of where their sales money is going to come from. And in order to fund this game for years and years, they need a way to get money. Basically, microtransactions. Games like Overwatch, in the future, I assume Overwatch is going to be around for a long time. If you look at the history of Blizzard, you can see that they are very content on having one game, StarCraft 2 I'm going to give as an example, and develop that and keep working on that and try and build a community around that, try and build an esports scene around that, and try and encourage people to play that game. And they need a way to sustain that. They need a way to sustain the game, to pay their staff for working on it, and just to give them motivation to keep working on it. Money does talk. If people want to spend money on their game, it's going to say, okay, people want to play this. It's a way of garnering interest in a way, and that's not the main reason for it, but it is a use. And I'm completely fine with that, and I agree with that completely. Let's look at some bad things with microtransactions. Think of DLC, and this is where the line kind of blurs, because some DLC can be considered microtransactions. I personally consider skin packs of any kind to be basically a microtransaction, or cosmetic stuff, stuff that doesn't affect the gameplay. Okay, fine, it doesn't affect the gameplay, why is it an issue? Well, for starters, once that single player game has been released, normally it's a story. There are a few exceptions, I'd say Minecraft, stuff like that plans to be a sandbox game, but even in Minecraft's case, it's a multiplayer game, so that exempts it in another way. But in a single player game, when you release the game, you have single player experience, and normally that's just a story. It's a contained experience that you spent money on, and cosmetic packs are not adding to that experience. They're not adding anything of value to that experience. It's not enhancing the single player experience because you look like a clown in a game, and it just seems like a way of someone trying to grab money off you. Now, DLC / microtransactions, I feel in a single player game needs to be worthwhile. It needs to enhance the single player experience. For example, mission packs. Obviously pricing is a different issue, but mission packs, something that adds like more areas to the game, more story to the game, new characters maybe. That's kind of an iffy line. It's one where pricing comes into play again as well. Stuff like that. Any other instance, and that's something I would consider DLC or expansion packs. Anything else I don't consider worthwhile in a single player game. Anything cosmetic is not value. It's not worth it in a single player game. It's not adding anything to it. You're not helping to support the game by buying these cosmetics. You've already spent £40 in it, whereas if it's not like you're convincing these developers to keep working on the game, because if they're making more DLC, you can just buy that DLC and then say, okay, that's my commitment to the game. Okay, so that's for starters on single player games. Let's talk about the bad microtransactions in multiplayer games. And obviously pay to win, just stay clear of that completely. Any sort of power that you can buy in a game is ultimately bad. Pay to skip is okay in a way. So say you want to buy a booster that gives you levels. I'm kind of on the line with that, as long as what you're skipping can be achievable without paying. And most of these times I would consider it more towards free-to-play games. So in Hearthstone, you can get all the cards in the game without spending a single penny, but it will take you a very long time, so you can buy card packs. That is pay to skip, and that's fine. It's a free-to-play game. I'm okay with it. In the case of cosmetic items, that's completely fine. It's not, if you can, because Dota 2 you can get items from gameplay, but it takes so long, it's not worth it. Most of the items you're going to get is from you paying for them. So completely fine, pay to skip there as well. It's never a free-to-play game. Also, cosmetic items don't affect the gameplay in any way. If you pay to skip for things that do impact the gameplay, for instance, heroes, then there needs to be a reasonable way to achieve these heroes from gameplay, from just playing, from time spent. For instance, Street Fighter V, their model for microtransactions seems to be that you can buy they're going to release new heroes, cosmetic packs. You can buy these heroes with real life money, or you can gain coins from playing the game, and you can buy the heroes if you accumulate enough coins. So depending on the pricing model, we don't have enough information on that now, as far as I know, to really say anything about how fair it is. I feel that that's a good system. That's fine. I'm fine with that completely. Especially in a game like Street Fighter, where heroes are mostly preference. Fighters, I guess, are mostly preference. It comes down to what you like to play, how the fighting style that you like. So that's completely fine in my eyes. I'm completely fine with that. Street Fighter is obviously a full price game, but I don't mind them charging microtransactions. When you look at the history of Capcom and Street Fighter, they support the games for a long time, and previously they did that by releasing multiple versions of the game. Street Fighter 4 had like 6 versions, I don't know how many, but if we look at Street Fighter 5, they want to do that now. They just want to support one single game and release new fighters and stuff, and people were fine with them releasing multiple versions of Street Fighter 4. People were completely fine with that, but now suddenly there's microtransactions in Street Fighter 5 and people are starting to say, okay, whoa, I just paid £40 for this game. Why are you asking me to pay more money? And that's an attitude I disagree with wholeheartedly, especially looking at the history of Street Fighter. It really annoys me actually. So I guess, in summary of everything I've just said, microtransactions are not always bad. They aren't some kind of demon. They're not killing the games industry. In fact, in a lot of cases, they're supporting the games industry, especially esports. Free-to-play gaming couldn't live without it, but also multiplayer gaming in general that wants to last for a long time, completely fine. There are some bad times, some bad microtransactions in DLC, in multiplayer games, namely map packs. Completely awful way. It shows a lack of care for your community, it segregates it, and there's no need for it, especially in a game like Call of Duty where a new game comes out every year. What are you supporting this game? How are you supporting this game? Because you know a new one's going to be out next year. You're just throwing money at it. It's not helping the game. It's helping the developers. Obviously, it's putting money in their pockets, but it's not helping to improve the game by supporting these map packs. It's segregating the community and it's damaging it. Yes, we see it every time a map pack comes out in a Call of Duty. You either have the people play the map pack who can't play with the other guys, so they have to play with only people who have the DLC. It makes a less populated player base. It just damages the game, and it kind of forces people who want to play COD seriously, who want to, not just COD, any game that releases map packs, but it just kind of forces them to spend money on the game if they want to stay competitive, if they want to stay in the scene, if they want to keep enjoying the game really, because their game experience has been limited by the fact that they're playing with less people now. So yes, microtransactions can be bad, but they can be good, and they can support esports. They can support the game that you're playing that you really enjoy. They can encourage developers to keep working on a game that probably wouldn't have lasted a few years, wouldn't have lasted for half as long as it did without this support, because the developers couldn't continue it. And I think if we look at the facts of microtransactions and we look at the success stories of it, we can say objectively that microtransactions are not always bad, and that it has to be taken by case basis. We can't just look at microtransactions and say, oh my god, I'm not playing this game because there's microtransactions in, because that's not a healthy attitude, and it's not a very helpful attitude. And it really annoys me to see. Context is key in most things in life, and in microtransactions it's no different. Stop demonizing games with microtransactions in just because they have microtransactions. Look at the bigger picture. My name's been Josh. Thanks very much for listening / watching this video. Hopefully in future videos, Kyle and Jack can be back. I think we have another topic about MOBAs, which is kind of related to this, but not anything to do with microtransactions. So that's going to be quite fun to talk about. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please give a like. If you dislike this video, please give a dislike. See you next time, guys.